It's Tuesday night. The rankings were just revealed. If you were planning on spending some money to go watch the Vols in Knoxville for the playoffs, you're good. You can save your money. You can spend it on Christmas. You can spend it on stocking stuffers, whatever you need to. The rankings were just released. While we were hopeful of it, they really kind of come out how it's been projected to go. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. You hit that like. If you have not content, hit subscribe as well. Frank Rock House of Orange Sports Channel. College football playoffs just come out just a few minutes ago. Oregon 1, Texas 2, Penn State 3, Notre Dame 4, Georgia 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee 7. That's all you need to know at that point. Well, you may look at it and say, well, Tennessee 7th, they're going to host. Nope. Here's the problem we have with it. Oregon, Penn State winner, automatic bye. Texas, Georgia winner, automatic bye. Neither loser of that is going to fall any further than it should, and they shouldn't. They should not get penalized for playing conference championship game. And let me reiterate and differentiate this. Why should the Big Ten and SEC championship losers not be penalized? Because that's your best two conferences. It's night and day compared to the ACC, the Big 12, and the Group of Four on this, or Group of Five. I'm sorry, Power Four, Group of Five. Tennessee coming in at 7. Yeah, it's great and all. But two things are going to happen. It's going to mess Tennessee up. SMU wins, they get an automatic bye. If Clemson wins, Clemson may be the last team in. There's a lot of different ways this is going to go. Behind Tennessee, you have SMU. If they win, they're an automatic bye because ACC champion. If Clemson wins, they may not be an automatic bye, but they will be in. Dabo's boasting today, oh, well, it'll make everybody mad. We're in 3 losses. You won't last long if you get in. I can promise you that. I'm not so sure they beat it. They may beat SMU. It'll be interesting in Charlotte. Clemson gets in, they won't last long. They'll go on the road, and it may be to Georgia again. I mean, I don't know. There's some interesting scenarios that could play out with that one. If Notre Dame's a 5, I mean, that's interesting. I think Notre Dame's better than Clemson, though. But as far as Tennessee goes, they gave Ohio State the nod over Tennessee. Man, I feel like I could make a case for both teams on this. Ohio State lost to number 1 by 1 point. They won on the road at number 3. They beat handily 11-1 Indiana. Tennessee beat Alabama. I'm going to take the homer out of it. Yeah, I'm wearing Tennessee. Obviously, if you follow my channel, I'm a Tennessee fan. I just think that the committee's talked out of both sides of their mouths on this. You know, at one time, well, it's the worst loss on this. Well, Ohio State was a double-digit favorite over Michigan and lost at home. Tennessee's worst loss was Arkansas on the road at night. To me, the Michigan loss was worse because it was at home and they were double digits on it. Tennessee's best win is Alabama. Tennessee's worst loss was Georgia. Ohio State's worst loss is the number 1 ranked team who is undefeated on it. And so I don't know. I see a case. I do see a case for Ohio State. I guess the hopeful part of me was maybe that late loss is where it comes in. You lose late on it. I still feel like when they talk about losses, the Michigan loss at home is worse than the Arkansas loss on the road. But it is what it is. At this point, we can sit here and gripe about it all day long. Tennessee is going to be at Ohio State in round 1 of the playoffs. I think that's pretty much a given at this point. And what I liked, not that it matters, but you had Booger McFarland, Joey Galloway, Greg McElroy on set. I think it was McFarland said Ohio State's only chance to beat Tennessee is if it's at home. They're not beating them in Knoxville. And I'll tell you what, Ohio State better be careful that they don't take Tennessee lightly, like their fans are. I can tell you that right now. I still want this game. It's big boy football. You've got to go on the road. You've got to do what it takes to win, to get in. And the interesting scenarios, it's played out pretty much like I said. The way I had Oregon, Texas, SMU, Boise State top 4. That matches up. Right now, Penn State ahead of Notre Dame. I think when it's all said and done, unless Penn State beats Oregon, which is possible, I think that it's either Notre Dame or Penn State or Oregon in that 5 spot. Right now, the way I had it, Oregon, Texas, SMU, Boise State, Notre Dame, Penn State is 5-6. That could be flip-flopped easily. Could easily be flip-flopped. Both of them are 1 loss. Penn State's only lost to Ohio State. Notre Dame's was to a 6. I don't know what Northern Illinois ended up. They were 6-5 last I saw. I don't look those. I'll be honest on it. So we'll say Penn State 5, Notre Dame 6, Georgia 7. I had Tennessee 8. Maybe that's the homer in me as well. But obviously, according to this, you're going to flip those. Ohio State over Tennessee. Then you've got Indiana. Right now, according to it, Arizona State. I think Arizona State goes in 12. The big debate was going to be Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Miami. Alabama was the highest one. I think they got it right. I think they got it right on it. I've had some argue with South Carolina's won 6 in a row. They negate Ole Miss in it. Ole Miss dominated South Carolina in Columbia. South Carolina out. Do I think South Carolina's one of the best 12? Yes, I do. You have to go head-to-head. You have to go by resume. You have to go by the fact that Ole Miss went to Columbia and dominated them. 27-3. End of discussion. South Carolina's out. Yeah, it's going to stink for them if Clemson wins this week and gets in, but that's out of their hands. Clemson's in a different conference. So that's a non-conference game in the grand scheme of things. Does it affect games? Sure. Or affect things. But that game honestly had no effect on Clemson once Miami lost. Clemson would have been out had Miami had taken care of business last week. They didn't. Miami's out. They're going to be the only way. I just don't see. It is what it's coming down to. Oregon and Penn State are going to be in. Texas and Georgia in. That ACC could get a little interesting. That's the one scenario it could get interesting. Boise State or UNLV in. Arizona State or Iowa State in. Notre Dame in. Tennessee's in. Ohio State's in. Indiana's in. Bama has got to hope for for Clemson beating SMU. Let me back up. Bama needs SMU to beat Clemson. Bama needs SMU to beat Clemson because if Clemson wins, SMU could possibly still get in. I don't think, based on what we're seeing with Miami, that Miami got bumped out. I don't think SMU's a 2-loss ACC team is in either. But I could see where SMU gets that last nod over Alabama. Alabama's got to hope SMU wins. If SMU wins, Alabama's in. It's that if SMU loses, it's going to get really interesting for Alabama. But Alabama, there's nothing to change it between now and next week. Alabama gets the nod over Miami, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. And honestly, I think it's the fair thing. And here's the thing. South Carolina's out because they lost to Ole Miss and Alabama. There's no argument. There's no argument on that. Head-to-head has to count. If you lost to both teams that you're comparing with, you're out. End of discussion. Miami, Alabama, Ole Miss is what it comes down to. I think the Ole Miss loss at home to Kentucky puts them out. Miami's really beaten nobody. And, like I said on telecast, they lost 2 out of 3. I think the rankings are, I would say they're pretty fair. I don't like it. I don't like that Ohio State they lost to a double-digit underdog at home, and yet they're still going to get rewarded with a home playoff game against Tennessee. That's the way it's going to play out here. I don't see any scenario where Georgia goes below Tennessee, and they shouldn't. They beat Tennessee. I don't care if Georgia does have 3 losses. If Texas beats them, they have 3 losses. I don't think the SEC nor Big Ten runner-up should get penalized and drop down too far. I just don't. ACC, yeah, I think they should. Big 12, yeah, only the winner. And then, of course, Group of 5. I don't like the fact that the Group of 5 can get an automatic bye, but it is what it is. I love the playoff. Personally, I'd like to see it go 16 teams, but 12's not bad. There's always going to be controversy. You could put 64 teams into the college football. There's going to be controversy when it's all said and done. But we'll wrap up on that one. Tennessee's path is clear. Their road is clear. They're going to be on the road at this point. I just don't see any way that they host based on what the rankings were tonight, because I just don't see the SEC or Big Ten championship loser dropping below Tennessee. I just don't see it. So it is what it is. The grand scheme you're in, you can cry about it, or you can get ready to go on the road to Columbus the weekend of January 20th and 21st and get ready to send them to the house. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Make sure you tune in tonight. Tennessee and Syracuse right now getting ready to tip off SEC ACC Challenge. I will be live directly after the game. Hope to see you in there tonight. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Thanks for tuning in. It's always a great day to wear the orange.